Welcome to day 23 of the 300 movie challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of April 1996, which was Primal Fear. Now, before we get started, I want to say that this movie relies heavily on a certain plot twist.
Yes.
So I think we should just try to avoid talking about that as much as possible. Because I know we've kind of spoiled some things of other movies, but they've usually been like not that important or like not like big twists you weren't supposed to guess, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So for something like this, I think we're gonna avoid this.
Yes.
So
actually, do you want to make like a separate cut, like a bonus video for people who want to hear us talk about that? Because I think it is worth talking about.
I guess like we could just bring it in at the very end, and then
Yeah.
I can say, spoilers start here, and then
Yeah. Okay.
Spoilers start here. Spoiler alert.
Like seriously, leave if you don't want to know it because it will ruin the movie if you hear it.
Yeah.
So just be warned. Take caution. Let's go.
Okay, first thing I want to say is that it is a 2-hour long movie.
Yeah, it is a bit too long.
It's a bit too long, even for a crime drama with courtroom stuff
Yeah,
in it.
the courtroom stuff was a bit too long. And
They didn't need that many scenes.
I feel like there were some unnecessary scenes that weren't really needed. And stuff like the guy that he even asked to testify never even came to testify.
Yeah, that's true. That was kind of pointless. And also, the whole I mean, this sounds like a spoiler, but it's not really. Or it's not the important one. What happened with Alex? It's like ever. It's like seems like it's gonna be this big deal, and then it's literally never touched on, and it's like, did we miss a scene? Like, what happened?
Because we don't even know who killed him either.
Yeah, it's never explained. Like the next thing that they do was like the testimony with the DA, but then even if that was supposed to be like a context clue, it wasn't done very well.
No, and there's no yeah.
And then not only that, but the one part where he put what's it called? The guy with the really long name and starts with an S.
Yeah, he's the DA.
Mousy, yeah. That dude. When he put him up, and then the camera kept going back to the blonde dude, and it's just
who was that?
I feel like that was supposed to be the guy that originally testified against him, but then they never state that, and I was waiting for the film to state who he was or call him up to testify, but that never happened.
Yeah, okay. Here's the thing. I personally really like crime dramas. I like looking at documentaries about like actual cases, and courtroom drama is not for everyone. It can be very boring, it can be very dry. So you have to, if it's in a film, you have the liberty to make it interesting, but you should not stray from the actual case, because then there's no point in having it. Otherwise it gets too long, it gets too drawn out, just like, a real case. But if you put all this unnecessary drama in, like him having beef with the DA for like his other client, that was not necessary. They didn't even need the other case with the other client, because it's just kind of thinly there sometimes, and it's sprinkled throughout, but it's not important to this storyline.
It's not even important.
It has no bearing on what's his name again? Aaron. It has no bearing on him. He was not involved with those people at all. So I don't know why he had to be like, yeah, this is for my other client, you douchebag, but who cares in this trial?
That I kind of didn't even really fully put that together in my head, but now that you mentioned it, like that entire plot with Shaughnessy and I forgot his name, like Pinero, I don't know, something like that. Whatever his name was, something like that, was completely unrelated. Like there was the tiniest bit of relation, but it was so extraneous, and like you could just take it out, and like
I mean,
it wouldn't really
if he
matter.
wanted to like,
that would have at least cut out 30 minutes of the movie too.
If he wanted to like settle that, he could have done that in the Chinese restaurant. He didn't have to take it to court.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the part where he had to like out the bishop and stuff because like he knows about that, but he could just leave it at that and not bring up the other stuff. It's completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
And then he gets yelled at for it for like 5 minutes, and we don't need that.
And
Not only that, but even the judge was like, "This is completely unnecessary," and it didn't even help his case either.
I like the judge. The judge is the audience.
well, because the thing is, and the other thing is that the whole like thing with between the main guy, the defender, not the defendant,
Defense attorney,
and the
ADA.
prosecutor, like that they're
that
in a
was completely
relationship,
unnecessary, too.
sort of not, but they hate each
Yeah.
other. Like that was kind of made no sense and was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
unnecessary.
Also, I didn't like her personally as a character either.
No,
Well, I think we all agree on that.
I mean I feel like she was kind of supposed to be that way, but still, it doesn't make her like you want to see her. So
No.
Yeah.
And you
Like,
see her
every
for a
time-
majority of the movie too.
Every time she opens her mouth, I'm just like, just shh. It's okay.
It's okay.
Put out your cigarette. Go
oh
away.
yeah, she smokes like in every scene.
She
Yeah.
smokes like a chimney.
You're supposed to be an attorney. Doesn't that mean you're supposed to be smart?
Apparently not.
Maybe she was originally a chimney sweeper.
God. But okay, so it seems to me like you two are saying you don't really like this very much.
I mean, some of the things were fine. Like, I don't dislike it. I feel kind of like this is the film where I can truly say that I feel really mixed about.
I agree with her on that because I feel like there were some things that I liked about it, but then I feel like I got a headache at the end.
The stuff with Aaron was very interesting. I think that's the thing that I paid the most attention to. The other stuff with like the attorney, it wasn't very compelling at times, and sometimes it was, but sometimes it wasn't. But then the stuff with like Aaron and the psychologist I liked a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Also,
well, okay.
well, I was just gonna mention a lot of the side characters they don't really give proper introductions to. They kind of just appear into the scene, and like the assistant he had, I don't
The
even
woman or
remember.
the man.
Yeah, I don't even remember what his name was. I don't.
Which one? With
he
the black
kinda
guy?
Yeah,
The former cop
His
guy.
name was Tom. I don't know why I
Oh.
remember that, but his name was Tom.
He kept yelling at him like, "Tommy, do this! Tommy, do
Yeah,
this!
that's why.
Tommy."
but I feel like they never really had proper introductions and
No,
such,
they-
and then their dynamic was also not really. There didn't seem to be like a proper dynamic either, because in Die Hard, even though they had never met each other previous to the incident that happened in Die Hard, you can see the dynamic pretty clearly.
They
that
had an amazingly good dynamic.
they had a good dynamic, but here I feel like there was like a lack of dynamic between all of the characters, really.
I guess the thing is that they're all kind of unlikable to an extent.
Well, you would have a dynamic even though they're unlikable characters, like between villains and stuff. But I feel
Yeah.
like there was just like there
There was no chemistry between anyone, like not
No.
even platonic chemistry.
no.
I like how now, like, every movie that we're like, this isn't good enough, it's not as good as Die Hard. Like, every aspect of it.
Die Hard is now the standard.
Except for children's movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like classics we've seen before.
Yeah.
Like all the movies we went into without knowing anything, we compare to Die Hard.
Yeah. Well, okay, here's the thing for me. So, again, as what I mentioned, I think the kind of weird relationship-ish thing between the defense attorney and the prosecutor is not that well done and doesn't make any sense and is completely irrelevant. I think the whole plot with Shaughnessy and the Hispanic guys is pretty much irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the thing with Alex at the near the end is completely irrelevant. Doesn't make any sense why that's a thing at all.
Like he didn't have to die.
No.
He could have just like lived his life.
Right. That
under the
again,
bridge.
it was
Yeah.
just completely pointless. Okay.
Yeah.
That said, if they took all that out, I might love this movie.
If they took that out, it would have been more focused, so they would have been able to pay more attention to Aaron's case.
Yeah, I would have liked it a lot better.
And then the courtroom would probably be a lot more focused, and it would be
Right.
they would be able to put more drama into Aaron's case instead
I
of
also don't
just
understand
other
why
stuff.
they had to put it in because it's a 2 hour long movie with everything.
Yeah, it's over 2 hours,
Yeah.
actually. It's
Yeah.
a bit longer than
So if they took that all out, it would have been like a normal feature film. So I don't see why they needed the extra footage and stuff.
They really didn't.
And
And
It
I feel
added
like
an hour to the movie, and it really didn't need it.
with the extra footage, they never really explained the extra footage either.
No.
Like with the blonde guy, as I mentioned before, and such too.
But like when
Yeah.
so I agree with that. But again, like when I say like for the stuff with Aaron, like I legitimately really liked that,
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was very interesting.
and you know it got me. You know, I was really hooked onto what was going on with him, and you know the stuff that happens. I was like, oh, fuck, right? Like, you know, and that's
Yeah.
like so. That's why this for me is just so hard to rank, because there's you know, there's a good amount of the movie I really like, and there's like it's like a third of the movie I really like, a third of the movie is fine, and a third of the movie is completely unnecessary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly.
So it's like, how do I rank this, right? It's like, do I try to average it out, or do I just try to feel like, you know, how I was left at the end of it? Because, like, I'm glad I saw it, and honestly, like, I would want other people to see this, just, like, you know, depending on the person. I know some people I know who want to see this, but, like,
yeah, certainly.
you know, just to kind of experience the stuff that is really good.
Mm.
So, I don't know. I really don't know how to think about this exactly. Like, I actually, like, we're like ranking the films amongst ourselves and like trying to, you know, keep the list secret. I
It
originally,
hasn't really worked out.
well, okay, we kind of like told each other once, but anyway. So, I have this film very high on that ranking list right now. I'm probably going to lower it. I'm not sure how much I'm going to lower it though, because again, the stuff that's good is really good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's if just okay. I would recommend to watch this. Just be aware that there is stuff that is not necessary and shouldn't be in the movie. Also, again, as we because we're being as careful as possible, do not read anything about this movie.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
read any plot synopsis or anything. 'Cause
It will actually ruin it.
Right, and
Yeah.
like I read like the one sentence, like, you know, description on a thing like before watching this, and even that didn't like spoil the main things, but it still gave like a bit of context that I feel like would have been better if I didn't know. So yeah, this is I don't know. It's really good and also really not. So,
At the same time.
so yeah, are you ready to talk about the spoilers?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Okay, giant spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie, stop watching. Goodbye.
I guess if
We'll
you're
see you for the
leaving,
next
bye.
one. You're leaving, bye. If you're staying, hi. Hope you
Okay.
watched the.
Okay.
We assume you watched the movie. So, okay. So here's the thing that's and like nobody is going to get this comparison, but I'm gonna say it
No.
anyway because this is what I thought of immediately. The web series Everyman Hybrid, which is really confusing, but is a fantastic thing if you are kind of into like internet kind of horror stuff, has a character very similar to Aaron,
Oh.
Okay.
and portrayed in a way that's kind of similar. It's less a split. It's again, now I don't want to spoil Everyman Hybrid, but it's portrayed differently, but again, kind of like, you know, kind of the nice guy, you know, persona, but then also the psycho, you know, murderous persona, right?
Yeah.
kind of conflicting in a person's body, and kind of like which is the real one, right?
Yeah.
And that's so that's what I thought. And the thing is, when it's first revealed that he, or the first twist that, oh, he does have this, split personality, I was like, oh, okay, like this could be interesting. And I was curious to see, how they were going to go with this in the plot. And to be fair, a problem that I did feel with, like, even with the main plot regarding Aaron, was that I felt like it kind of seemed to resolve a bit too conveniently.
That's true.
Where it was like,
it
oh,
would have needed more time.
like oh, he flipped out or whatever, and but then the judge, then the judge immediately like does exactly what the defense attorney wanted her to do.
Yeah.
It's like that seemed to, and even then she specifically says something like, I forgot what she said, but she basically called him out and being like, I saw what you tried to do.
Yeah.
Don't do that again.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, if you saw what he tried to do, then why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Right? So, like, that was kind of the thing where I was like, but, I still was like, okay. And then that final ending, it's just, that ending scene is really good because it really, plays on the atmosphere of it. It feels really, like, uplifting at first. But I don't, like, and I feel like I did see a clip of the ending somewhere before, and it was a while ago, and I didn't remember it until halfway through that ending scene, where I was like, wait, this looks familiar. So it might just be because I saw that clip, but even though it seemed kind of uplifting and, they're happy, is it just me, or did you kind of feel like something was wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel something is kind of
And
off.
I don't know what they do to do that, but...
Well,
I think it's probably the actor for Aaron. Aaron's actor is really, really good.
I actually
he's really good.
He got nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
Did he win?
I don't think so.
Really?
He got nominated. And what's even crazier, this is his first major acting role in a movie.
Oh,
What?
wait, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
He is good.
yeah, so I was, that was all. Again, if the story was just about Aaron and his specific role in this, and the attorney's specific role with his case and their specific case, I would love this movie. Because the twists are paced well, it legitimately surprises you both
Especially
times.
the twist at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, okay, we're at the resolution of this.
This is
It's
nice.
a 2-hour-long film. Okay.
Aaron's
We
happy.
never learned what happened to Alex, but I guess they're never going to tell us. And then it drops that bombshell on you,
Yeah.
of which you're just like, I just went from feeling so happy to feeling
Right, and no, it works really well too, because remember
Yeah, it works
how
brilliantly.
how the defense attorney guy was talking to the person saying, like, how do you defend someone you know is guilty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it gets back, because he was thinking of it as like, shit, there's no way to not prove that this guy didn't do it, but then he's like, oh, he
Yeah.
didn't do it, it's all fine, we can do it, but then, so it's like, he had that kind of moment where he was like worried about something, and then it seemed to be resolved, but then it came back in an even worse way later at the very
Yeah.
end, right? So,
Yeah.
like, that was extremely smart as well.
That's a really good use of irony right there.
Right.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, that, if anything, I'm just like, God, they're so good. Some things are so good, but some things are just completely irrelevant. And I don't know how to feel this. I
Do a
don't-
cut of the movie.
Oh,
my
God.
God.
Yeah, no, like, okay, legitimately, I feel like if someone, like, could do, like, an own, like, I'm almost tempted to try, like, edit the movie themselves, and, it'd probably end up being, like, an hour long,
That would be fine.
and
It
I
would be
feel like
fine.
it would be really good, and,
yeah.
so,
But there are a couple of things that I have problems with, which we were discussing before we started filming this, and not filming, recording and such, which is that I'm pretty sure, like, one of the things that we mentioned was that they probably would have called up the other altar boys as witnesses and stuff.
They should have.
They should have done that. They should have done that. And then I feel like the psychologist or the neurologist, forgot what her job was, but she probably should have picked up on the fact that he was faking it the entire
Okay,
time.
okay. There's also this thing. She also called for a scan of his brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sociopaths have less activity in their frontal lobes. So even if she bought his act, she wouldn't have if she had the science to back up the fact that he's actually an actual sociopath.
Mm.
I don't know if maybe like he denied it. I don't remember because they did mention it in passing. I couldn't remember if they actually went through with it, but I think even if you have DID, it still shows up for just your whole brain. I'm not 100% sure if someone is like a psychologist, please correct me. But sociopaths have less activity in their frontal lobes because they do not feel empathy.
Mm.
And that is just something that you have biologically, and there's no way to cover that up.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, there are a few things, and I looked, yeah, he didn't win he won a Golden Globe for it. He was nominated but didn't win the Academy Award. Actually, the Academy Award winning, at least for Best Supporting Actor for 96, is of a film we will be seeing for 96.
Oh, okay.
So that's interesting. But yeah, so I really don't. I would say watch it, but I mean, okay. Here's the thing: if you're listening to this spoilers, you should have watched it already. So I already said so. You know, and if you didn't, well, you suck because you spoiled the movie for you. So good fucking job. But yeah, so I guess if you have seen it, you know, I guess you could leave a comment kind of talking about, you know, how you think at the end of the day things balance out. Do you think the good outweighs this? Do you think it's just it's got too many problems?
Do you think it's even?
Do you think it's even? I think at the end of the day it was net positive, mostly just because the stuff that was good was so good.
I feel just in the middle.
Yeah, I can totally understand in the middle.
I'm kind of in the middle myself too.
Yeah, so that was Primal Fear. I actually.
Why is it called?
Yeah, why is it called Primal Fear?
We were talking about this like 10 minutes in, and I was like, okay, this is about like someone murdering a bishop. Why is it called Primal Fear?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like when I heard the title, I was like, okay, maybe it has something to do with like. I thought it would have something to do with animals or something, or
Hunting.
yeah, or hunting or something. And then we end up in Chicago, and I was like, what?
I mean, I guess they could have gone with something else. Like, I guess maybe if they called it Altar Boys, no one would watch it.
The one thing though is I kind of wish. I know that it would have ruined the entire like the way that they were going about it and stuff, but I kind of wish that they also. I wanted to see where it could have also gone if there was a third person too.
Oh yeah, just even if it was just a witness and if they used them as a fall guy or something.
Yeah,
that would have been interesting.
I kind of wish, but again, I feel like it was another one of those things where the movie left untied.
Too many weird strings.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird strings with this movie. Yeah, that's to quote what Valen said before. You're gonna get a sweater that's a third made. The third that's made is really well made.
Yeah.
And then another part is kind
The
of
rest, falls apart.
lazy done, but still workable, and then the rest of it is kind of just strips.
Yeah, nothing is terrible.
Yeah.
It's just
nothing is terrible.
The stuff that's not good is just like unneeded, basically, and you're just like, this being here is just kind of blah. But it doesn't like again. That's why I say overall it's a net positive because there's nothing in it where I was like, this is stupid, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is good. That's that, I guess. We've been talking for a while, so I think we should wrap this up. So yeah, next movie is
oh god, a movie from my youth.
Maya's seen this. I know about this. Get ready.
Wait, I have to refresh my memory as to what movie is next.
Here's your hint. Wind.
What's my... Oh. I've been on a ride for this. I have the weirdest one out of the three of us for this movie.
A movie from my youth. Let's see if I get scared again.
It's a movie from my youth, but in a completely different sense. And
so we'll experience that wonderful ride next time.
I wonder if that ride is actually still there. I should check.
I highly doubt it.
I want to check. Let me see.
No, we gotta stop the video.
We'll put it in a footnote or something.
Oh my god, we're done. Bye.
Bye.